year now since best credit rating methodology was updated. But what has the impact been on insurance companies and what lies ahead? I'm Yvette Essen for AM Best TV at Insurance Market Brief in Europe, where BCRM and the updated methodology has been discussed. I'm joined by a panel of guests from AM Best to talk about BCRM. We have Carlos Wong-Fupuy, Senior Director at AM Best, also Mahesh Mistry, Senior Director of Analytics for AM Best, and Greg Carter, Managing Director of Analytics for AM Best. Carlos, starting with you, can you tell me, it's been a year now, just over a year since the updated methodology. Can you recap and summarise some of the key changes that we made to the methodology?
In summary, there were two main areas. One was the adoption of a new BCAR model, our proprietary capital model, which is based on stochastic values using value at risk measures. And the other one was trying to allocate, to apportion the effects of different factors into four building blocks, basically balance sheet strength assessment, operating performance, business profile, and enterprise risk management.
Why did we feel that we needed to update the methodology?
Well, I think that there has been a recognition that things have changed. Companies are adopting more sophisticated methods in assessing their capital. And we needed as well to clarify, to add some more transparency to the way we explain the rating drivers and be more specific about the way companies are adopting enterprise risk management.
Mahesh, can I ask you, we've made these changes now, but did ratings change as a result of the updated BCRM?
Yeah, if you consider the portfolio that we operate out of EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East and Africa, we've only had a handful of ratings that were placed under review as a result of the methodology change. So that's about 3% of the portfolio.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about the 3% of the portfolio. Were there companies in a particular country or a region that were impacted?
So out of the 5 companies that we placed under the review, 3 of them were the big global reinsurers who were upgraded as a result of the methodology change. Then there were 2 players that were in the Middle East, prime reinsurers, that were downgraded as a result of the changing criteria.
Greg, was that as we expected it to pan out with regards to making the changes to the methodology?
We wouldn't have expected significant changes in ratings in the methodology, because that would have suggested that either the old methodology was incorrect or the new one is incorrect. So it's not surprising that there are a few changes. What the revised methodology allowed us to do was to look at those companies under a different spotlight and to see them in a slightly different way, and that's what led to those rating changes.
And have companies reacted in a certain way to the methodology changes? What have they said?
Companies have reacted very positively to the changes in the methodology. I think, as Carlos mentioned, it was aimed at bringing about greater transparency to our rating process and understanding the key drivers of our ratings. And the feedback from clients has suggested that we're very clearly on track to do that.
Going forward, are there areas that we're likely to be focusing on in the future in terms of the methodology? Any particular areas?
Our methodology is always open for review, and there are clearly it's an insurance market that continues to develop, and there are certain factors that become more relevant as time goes on. As you heard from our conference today, the subjects of innovation, ESG are hot topics in the industry. They are already factored into our approach and to our analysis, perhaps not explicitly within our methodology necessarily, but there are areas that will continue to evolve.
And Carlos, modifications going forward to BCRM, are we likely to make any further modifications?
Well, we have a formal review process annually. So during the year, based on experience, based on market development, research, we look at each piece of the criteria. As Greg has just mentioned, there are some areas like innovation and ESG which are gaining relevance, but we think that at the moment we are capturing all the key drivers within the building blocks. Obviously, we'll continue to monitor the market, probably be a bit more explicit about certain references, but in general, I wouldn't expect any material changes in the short term.
So constant review, but nothing significant in the pipeline?
Yeah, that's correct.
Great. Carlos, Mahesh, Greg, thank you very much for your time in explaining that. More information on Best credit rating methodology and the changes can be found on AM Best website, aonbest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm Yvette Essen.